I am sitting in my new studio apartment right now, looking around at a space that is finally completely mine. My phone just buzzed a minute ago. Unknown number. I already knew who it was before I even opened it. The message read, "Do you miss me?" I stared at those four words for a long moment, then typed back something simple, factual and final. Unit 247, code 8359. Your stuff is there. Paid through end of month. I hit send without hesitation, set my phone down, and went back to my coffee. No explanation, no emotion, just the facts. But to understand why I could respond that way to someone I once loved, I need to take you back to where this whole thing started. Before I tell you how we got here, I would love to know where you are watching from. Drop your city in the comments below and hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you will want to hear how this whole mess unfolded. Let me take you back to where it all started. Madison and I had been together for 2.5 years. We met at a mutual friend's birthday party in downtown Portland, Oregon, where I have lived most of my adult life. She was vibrant, outgoing, always the center of attention in the best way possible. I'm more on the quiet side. I work as a software developer for a small startup, spend my evenings debugging code or reading, and I'm perfectly fine with a low-key Friday night at home. Madison balanced me out, or at least that is what I told myself. She brought energy into my life. She made me laugh. She pushed me to go out more, meet new people, try new restaurants. For the first 1.5 years, everything felt right. 8 months ago, Madison moved into my one-bedroom apartment. It was small but cozy, tucked in a quiet neighborhood with tree-lined streets and a coffee shop on the corner. I remember the day she brought her first load of boxes. I helped her carry everything up the stairs, and we spent the whole weekend unpacking, rearranging furniture, and arguing playfully about where to hang her framed prints. That Sunday night, we ordered pizza, sat on the floor surrounded by half-empty boxes, and she leaned her head on my shoulder. "I am so happy here," she said. I believed her. I was happy too. Living together was an adjustment. Madison had a lot of stuff. Her shoes lined the entryway, her makeup sprawled across the bathroom counter and crept onto my side of the sink. Her purses took over the coat closet, and her clothes seemed to multiply in the bedroom. I did not mind at first. I figured we would find a rhythm. We had our routines. Saturday nights we cooked dinner together. She would pick the recipe, something ambitious like homemade pasta or Thai curry, and I would chop vegetables while she told me about her week. We watched movies on the couch, took walks through the neighborhood, and spent Sunday mornings at Powell's Books, wandering the aisles with coffee in hand. Those were good days, but underneath the surface, something else was building, something I did not recognize until it was too late. The first time I noticed the pattern, I brushed it off. It was a Thursday evening. I was in the middle of debugging a critical issue at work. We had a product launch the next morning, and my team was counting on me to get this fixed. Madison came into the living room around 7 p.m., already dressed to go out. "Ready?" she asked. I looked up from my laptop, confused. "Ready for what?" Her face fell. "Blaine, I told you last week. That new Italian place downtown. I made reservations." I felt my stomach drop. I'd completely forgotten. "Babe, I'm so sorry. I have this deadline tomorrow morning. Can we go this weekend instead? I promise I will make it up to you." She stood there for a moment, silent, her expression unreadable. Then she just turned and walked into the bedroom without a word. I called after her, apologized again, but she did not respond. I figured she was upset and needed a minute to cool off. I went back to my code, feeling guilty, but also stressed about the looming deadline. The next morning, I woke up to find her side of the bed empty. She had already left for work, which was unusual. She worked as a marketing coordinator for a local agency, and her hours were flexible. She rarely left before 8 a.m., but it was only 6:30. I checked my phone. No text, no note, nothing. I sent her a message. "Good morning. I am really sorry about last night. Let me know when you are free this weekend and we will go wherever you want." The message showed as delivered, then read a few minutes later. But no reply came. I called her during my lunch break. It rang twice, then went to voicemail. I left a message. Still nothing. By mid-afternoon, I was genuinely worried. I texted again, "Are you okay? I am worried." Read. No response. When I got home that evening, she was already there sitting on the couch, scrolling through her phone. "Madison, are you all right? I have been trying to reach you all day." She looked up, smiled like nothing had happened, and said, "Oh, I was just busy at work, silly. My phone was on silent." I stared at her, relief mixing with confusion. "You did not see my texts." "I saw them. I just did not have time to reply." She stood up, walked over, and kissed me on the cheek. "What do you want for dinner?" That was it. No acknowledgement of how worried I had been, no explanation, just casual dismissal. I let it go because I was relieved she was fine, but the uneasy feeling lingered. 2 weeks later, it happened again. I forgot to pick up milk on my way home from work. She had mentioned it that morning, but I was distracted during a meeting, and it slipped my mind. When I walked in empty-handed, she noticed immediately. "No milk?" "Oh no, I forgot. I'm sorry. I can run back out." "Do not worry about it," she said, her voice flat. Then she picked up her purse and left. No explanation, just walked out. I texted her, "Where did you go? Are you okay?" No response. An hour passed, 2 hours. I called, voicemail. I was pacing the apartment, my mind racing through worst-case scenarios. Finally, around 10 p.m., she came back. "Where were you? I was worried sick." "I went to get the milk," she said, holding up a grocery bag. "My phone died." She walked past me into the kitchen like it was no big deal. But her phone was not dead. I saw her screen light up with a notification as she set it on the counter. That is when I started to see it clearly. This was not forgetfulness or coincidence. This was a pattern. Every time I made a mistake, no matter how small, Madison would disappear. Not physically every time, but emotionally. She would go silent, ignore my messages, shut me out completely. And then hours or sometimes a full day later, she would come back acting like nothing happened. No discussion, no resolution. Just this unspoken punishment that left me walking on eggshells, constantly anxious, always second-guessing myself. It all came to a head on a Friday night in late September. My college buddies were in town and they had tickets to see the Trailblazers play the Lakers. I love basketball, and I had not seen these guys in months. I asked Madison if she wanted to come. "Go ahead," she said. "I have plans with my girlfriends anyway." She seemed fine with it, even encouraged me to go. So I went. We had a great time, grabbed beers after the game, caught up on life. I posted a photo on my Instagram story, just a quick shot of us at the arena, nothing excessive. I got home around 11 p.m., feeling good. Madison was already in bed, or at least pretending to be. The next morning I woke up to an Arctic chill. She was awake getting dressed, but she would not look at me. "Good morning," I said. Silence. "Madison?" "Nothing." She grabbed her purse and headed for the door. "Hey, did I do something wrong?" She stopped, turned around, and gave me a look that could freeze lava. "I do not know, did you?" Then she left, slamming the door behind her. I sat there completely baffled. What had I done? I replayed the entire night in my head. I'd asked if she wanted to come. She said no. I went out with my friends. I came home at a reasonable hour. What was the problem? I texted her. "Can we please talk? I do not understand what I did." No response. I called. Straight to voicemail. I waited an hour, then tried again. Same thing. By afternoon, I was desperate. I reached out to her best friend, Kara, who I had met several times. "Kara, is Madison okay? She left this morning upset and I cannot reach her." Kara replied quickly. "She is here with me. She just needs some space right now." Space from what I had no idea. I spent the entire day alone in the apartment, my anxiety through the roof, trying to figure out what I had done wrong. I checked my Instagram story again, wondering if something in that photo had upset her. It was just me and my friends, nothing inappropriate, nothing that should have caused this reaction. That evening I tried calling again. Voicemail. I checked her social media. She had posted an Instagram story from a restaurant laughing with Kara and another friend looking perfectly happy. Meanwhile, I was sitting at home sick with worry. The contrast was brutal. She was out living her life while I was drowning in confusion and hurt. I realized something in that moment. This was not about me making a mistake. This was about control. This was about her punishing me, teaching me a lesson, making me feel exactly what I was feeling right now, powerless, anxious, desperate for her attention. Sunday morning, I woke up determined to fix things. I sent her a text laying it all out. Madison, I do not know what I did, but can we please talk? This silent treatment is hurting me. I love you, but I need to understand what is going on. I hit send and waited. The message turned green. Not blue. Green. I stared at my phone in disbelief. I tried calling. The call did not go through. I checked Instagram. Her profile was gone. Facebook. Blocked. She had blocked me. Everywhere. Completely cut me off without a word. I felt like I had been punched in the stomach. This person I had shared my life with for 2.5 years, who lived in my apartment, who I had supported and loved, had just erased me. Over what a night out with friends, a forgotten carton of milk, I sat on the couch, surrounded by her stuff. Her shoes by the door, her jacket on the chair, her books on the shelf. Her presence was everywhere, but she was gone. And she had done it on purpose. She wanted me to feel this. She wanted me to panic, to beg to chase after her. This was the lesson she was teaching me. I called Trevor my best friend since high school. Man, she blocked me. She actually blocked me. Trevor let out a long sigh. Blaine, listen to me. That is manipulation. That is not how someone who loves you treats you. You deserve better than this. We talked for over an hour. He reminded me of things I had forgotten, moments where I had made excuses for her behavior, times when I had blamed myself for her reactions. You have been walking on eggshells for months, bro. This is not healthy. You know that, right? I did know. Deep down, I had known for a while. I just did not want to admit it. I did not want to face the reality that the person I loved was hurting me intentionally. That night, I could not sleep. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment of our relationship. The good times were real, but so were the patterns. The silent treatments, the passive-aggressive comments, the way she would shut me out whenever I did something that displeased her, no matter how minor. This was not love. This was control. And I had let it happen because I was afraid of losing her. But what was I really losing? A relationship where I constantly felt anxious, where I had to monitor every word, every action, terrified of triggering another disappearing act that was not a life. That was a prison. By Monday morning, I had made my decision. If she wanted space, I would give her all the space she needed. I called in sick to work. I did not feel sick physically, but emotionally, I was exhausted. I needed to do this while I still had the courage. I drove to the public storage facility near downtown and rented a unit, Unit 247. It was a 10 by 10 space, climate controlled, more than enough for what I needed. I paid for the month up front and got the access code 8359. Then I drove to Home Depot, bought 20 heavy-duty cardboard boxes, packing tape, bubble wrap, and markers. I loaded everything into my truck and headed back to the apartment. Standing in the living room, looking at all of Madison's belongings scattered throughout the space we had shared, I felt a strange sense of calm. I was not angry. I was not vengeful. I was just done. I started in the bedroom. I folded every piece of her clothing, carefully placed them in boxes, and labeled each one clearly: clothes, bedroom, shoes, accessories. I moved to the bathroom next, packing up her makeup, skincare products, hair tools, all the little things that had slowly taken over every surface. I wrapped her perfume bottles in bubble wrap so they would not break. I was meticulous. I was respectful. Because this was not about being petty or cruel. This was about taking back my space and my peace of mind. As I packed, memories came flooding back. The blue sweater she wore the first time she met my parents. The ridiculous fuzzy slippers she shuffled around in on lazy Sunday mornings. The novel she'd been reading, bookmarked halfway through, still sitting on her nightstand. Each item held a memory, a moment we had shared. Part of me wanted to stop, to unpack everything and pretend this was not happening. But I kept going, because I knew if I stopped, I would fall back into the same cycle. I would convince myself that maybe I was overreacting, that maybe things would get better. But they would not. They never did. Trevor showed up around noon. I had texted him earlier and he came without questions, just a quiet, "Let me help." We loaded boxes into my pickup truck, made 3 trips back and forth to the storage unit, and by late afternoon, it was done. Every single thing that belonged to Madison was packed neatly in Unit 247. I stood in the apartment looking around at the empty spaces where her stuff used to be. No more shoes cluttering the entryway. No more makeup sprawled across the bathroom counter. No more purses hanging on the coat rack. Just my things. My books on the shelf, my guitar leaning against the wall, my laptop on the desk, my framed photos of my family. It felt strange, almost too quiet, but it also felt like I could breathe again. Trevor clapped me on the shoulder. "You're doing the right thing, bro." I nodded. I believed him. That evening after Trevor left, I made another decision. I was not just moving her stuff out, I was moving out too. This apartment, this space, it held too many memories. I needed a fresh start. I called my landlord and explained that I needed to break the lease early. Fortunately, the lease was only in my name, and after some negotiation, he agreed to let me out with just 1 month's rent as a penalty. I could live with that. Over the next 3 days, I searched for a new place. I found a small studio on the east side of Portland, closer to my office, with big windows and hardwood floors. It was smaller than what I was used to, but it was mine. Completely mine. I signed the lease, arranged for movers, and started packing up my own belongings. By Thursday, I was ready. I moved into my new studio that weekend. I set up my desk by the window, hung my guitar on the wall, bought a couple of plants to brighten up the space. I arranged my books on a new shelf I had assembled. Everything was simple, minimal, but it felt right. It felt like home in a way the old apartment had not felt in months. That first week in my new place was peaceful. I focused on work, finished a major project, and got positive feedback from my boss. I went hiking with Trevor on Saturday, caught up with some friends I had been neglecting. I cooked meals for myself, experimented with new recipes, rediscovered the joy of doing things at my own pace without worrying about someone else's mood. I slept better than I had in months. No anxiety, no checking my phone every 5 minutes, no walking on eggshells. Just peace. Friday night, exactly 1 week after she had blocked me, I was sitting on my couch watching a documentary when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. But I knew. I opened the message. "Do you miss me?" I read those 4 words and felt absolutely nothing. No anger, no sadness, no longing. Just a calm, clear understanding of what she wanted. She wanted me to panic. She wanted me to realize I had made a mistake. She wanted me to come crawling back, begging for another chance. That was how this game worked. She would punish me with silence, then reappear, expecting me to be so relieved that I would forget everything and fall back in line. But I was not playing anymore. I typed out my response, simple and factual. Unit 247, code 8359. Your stuff is there. Paid through end of month. I read it over once, then hit send. No explanation. No emotion. Just the information she needed. I set my phone down and went back to my documentary. A few minutes later, the messages started flooding in. What do you mean? Where are you? Why did you pack my stuff? We need to talk. Blaine, answer me. I read each one as it came in, but did not respond. My phone started ringing. I declined the call. More messages. You are being immature. I was just teaching you a lesson. You cannot just leave like this. I let her words sit there unanswered while I finished my documentary. Finally, she sent one last message. Fine, I will get my stuff tomorrow. I replied once more. Keys are with the storage manager. You need ID to access. Then I blocked her number. Not out of spite, not out of revenge, but because I needed to protect my own peace. I'd spent too long letting her control my emotions, my reactions, my sense of self-worth. I was done with that. I was choosing myself. The weeks that followed were a process of healing I had not realized I needed. I started going to therapy. My therapist helped me understand why I had tolerated the silent treatments, the manipulation, the emotional games. I'd been so afraid of losing the relationship that I had lost myself instead. I learned about boundaries, about recognizing red flags, about the difference between love and control. I learned that walking away was not giving up. It was choosing my own well-being over a toxic dynamic. I reconnected with old friends, people I had drifted away from during the relationship. I joined a local hiking group and met new people who shared my love for the outdoors. I took a cooking class and learned how to make dishes I'd always wanted to try. I spent evenings reading, playing guitar, working on personal coding projects I had put on hold. I rediscovered who I was outside of that relationship, and I liked the person I found. 3 months later, I ran into Kara at a coffee shop downtown. She smiled awkwardly, clearly unsure how to approach me. "Blaine, hi." "Kara." We stood there for a moment, the air thick with unspoken words. Finally she said, "Madison got her stuff from the storage unit. She was really upset." I nodded but said nothing. Kara continued, "I think she knows she messed up. For what it is worth, I am sorry about how things went down." I appreciated her honesty. "Thanks, Kara. I hope she's doing okay." And I meant it. I did not wish ill on Madison. I just could not be part of her life anymore. Kara nodded, we said our goodbyes, and I walked away feeling lighter than I had in months. I kept my word about the storage unit. The final bill came due on the 30th of the month, and I paid it just as I had told her. I did not try to contact her. I did not ask mutual friends about her. I simply moved forward, because holding on to anger or resentment would have only hurt me. Letting go was the greatest gift I could give myself. A few months after that, I started dating someone new. Her name is not important for this story, but what is important is how different this relationship feels. We communicate openly. When something bothers her, she tells me. When I make a mistake, we talk about it like adults. There are no games, no silent treatments, no manipulation. Just honesty, respect, and genuine care for each other's well-being. It is not perfect, because no relationship is, but it is healthy. And that makes all the difference. Looking back now, I do not regret the time I spent with Madison. That relationship taught me what I do not want. It taught me the importance of self-respect, of setting boundaries, of recognizing when love has turned into something unhealthy. It taught me that sometimes the strongest thing you can do is walk away. Not in anger, not in revenge, but in the quiet, firm knowledge that you deserve better. When Madison asked if I missed her, the truth was no, I did not. I did not miss the anxiety, the constant second-guessing, the feeling of walking on eggshells every single day. I did not miss the silent treatments or the mind games. What I missed was the illusion, the person I thought she was before I saw the patterns clearly. But I do not miss the reality of what that relationship had become. That storage unit code was not just about her stuff. It was my way of saying I am done playing games. I am choosing peace. I am choosing myself. And honestly, that was the best decision I ever made. So let me ask you, have you ever been in a relationship where you felt like you were constantly walking on eggshells? Have you ever experienced the silent treatment or emotional games that left you confused and hurt? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to hear your stories and how you handled them. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more real-life stories, and share this video with someone who might need to hear it. Remember, choosing yourself is not selfish. It is necessary. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you find the courage to choose peace in your own life, no matter how hard that decision might be. Take care of yourself out there.